it came about in a peculiar way. I'd actually done 2 labels before I did Heavenly. If anything inspired me to do that, it was punk rock in general, really. I was 15 in in 77, and punk was a massive deal for me. I spent a lot of time in clubs, in record shops, and that was like the impetus to do everything, really. It made me want to work in a record shop, which is what I eventually did. Then I eventually worked in a better record shop, and then I eventually had my own record shop, and then I started putting on groups, and then I got a job at Creation Records, so boom, boom, boom. So punk rock as a genre is kind of responsible for me being here today. When Heavenly came about in 1990, the influence and the impetus and the original energy of that was acid house. So basically, I thrive off the energy that creative times give us, and I was lucky that in 1988 and 89 I was out in the clubs, and 1990 all of that went into Heavenly.
Strut basically started out of the embers. There was a label called Harmless, which we were quite early on doing dance music compilations, really sort of telling the history of dance music through compilations. So we did some remix collections on Masters at Work and Merck and people like that. With Strut, basically we started it. There was one record that really got me thinking about starting my own label when I was working at Harmless, called Africa Funk, and that was really about getting world music to a rare groove audience and a bit more of a club audience, because before that it'd been very much world music. And that album did really well, and I thought, okay, we can do a bit more of this. That was back in about '99. So I started Strut, and the first album we did on Strut was called Club Africa, which just took on the idea. Made all these very funky African records available in one compilation, and that kind of kicked us off. So that was how we started it, and that was so really Africa Funk was the record that made me think I can do this.
Certainly one of the records that really inspired me to do a label early on was probably one of the really early Godspeed You Black Emperor ones on Constellation, because they had an amazing singular vision. Like, the music really spoke to me, but they did things like on this album F Sharp A Sharp Infinity, it was about the end of the world, and they did like screen printed posters, an individual photo on each one. They had they'd gone out to the local railway line and they'd flattened a coin on the railway tracks and put one in each there, which sort of all linked into the listening experience. So when you bought it from this like weird culty entity, you had this kind of amazing visual package to go with the music that just sort of blew my mind. And I think that it was those kind of things where I really appreciated the power of DIY and being able to have a personal connection with a piece of music through artifacts that artists had really had a vision around, and that, you know, that's what I sought to encourage with the bands on our label.
There's 2 records really that inspired Sonic Cathedral. The first one would be the Radio Department's debut album, Lesser Matters. Prompted me to revisit all the sort of shoegazy records I listened to when I was younger and start Sonic Cathedral Club Night. It's just an amazing record, and they played at the first Sonic Cathedral, and it kind of went from there. And the other one would be Slowdive's Catch the Breeze, which was on a Holding Our Breath EP, 1991, which is just the best song ever. The ultimate kind of shoegazy song that you can lose yourself in, and kind of, you know, that inspires everything that I like, basically. So everything's spiral from there.
I was playing at a party in Heaven, an after party back in 1999. I was at uni at the time, and I played my set, and I went to the other room and heard this song, and I was like, wow, what is this track? And then it was the Switch Get Your Dub On track, and it was just it's a whole nother level, and I was like, right, who are these guys? And then I started buying all the Freerange Records at uni, and I was doing my own parties and stuff. And then I finished uni, and I was like, okay, I need to work with these guys, and just went for a little interview. How are you doing? And they just started chatting to me, and such, like Tom and Jamie, like Jim Stars, such nice guys. And I was like, yeah, come in, do a bit of work experience, and then that was like 11 years ago. And then now, you know, it's opened up so many opportunities, and there's such good guys to work for, and, you know, selling records and doing what we love to do. So yeah, it's amazing.
So set up the label in 2005, and I'm generally quite attracted to oddballs, weirdos, outsiders. And the first record that we released was by a Swedish and French band called Envelope, and they lived in 3 different cities, and they only ever made music in their school holidays. And I brought them all together to live in a weird farmhouse in York, where they recorded an album which I thought was absolutely brilliant, called Demon. You can buy it over there at my store. Last few copies, people. And absolutely nobody bought it. But they were wrong. It's a work of unmitigated indie pop genius.
Well, actually, if there's one record, then it's probably Kid A by Radiohead. I studied architecture, so during that period I was burying myself in lots of crazy designs late at night, and I would listen to music that would allow me to think and to work. And yeah, that record just always set me on a little, set me on a travel. That amongst a few others, Keith Jarrett, Miles Davis, Sigur Rós, music basically that doesn't distract you, but that sort of gets the best out of you. That did it for me.